Hi guys, welcome back. Barry here. So we're working on this new project here in our community garden with the help of the volunteers. We're creating a perennial food forest here, and we're going to give you a quick tour of the site here and what we've been doing so far, and talk a little bit about the plan for this for the future and the process and the benefits of having a perennial food forest in the garden. So where I'm standing here now, this was originally an ornamental garden. It had a few shrubs that were grown as ornamental plants. There was red robin, there was a holly bush, there's a few bulbs planted in here, but it was completely left go and totally overgrown over the last few years. There's a few fruit bushes already existing planted here, and the fruit bushes that we had in the garden, this space had grown into that. There had been a lot of other trees and stuff, small ones, that had grown up. So the area itself is 16 meters by 5.5 meters. On the ground layer, there was, if you see here in the background, there was a complete layer of black weed suppressing plastic down, which didn't allow any roots really to penetrate. So there was a few holes cut in this for some of the trees, like the red robin. There's a California grape in the background as well. There was a hole cut in the plastic for the roots to go down, but other than that there wasn't much grew here, just shallow rooting weeds. So our plan in the future is to create a food forest using the 7 layers of a forest in this space to maximize it. So the idea of this community garden as well is to educate people around different types of gardens and anything to do with biodiversity and food production. So this will be a permaculture inspired, low maintenance, high production food forest. So a food forest, like any forest, is going to consist of 7 layers. So the idea with this small space, it is relatively small, but if we can have 7 layers of plants growing in here, we'll really maximize that space. So we'll start off with the tall canopy layer, which we're probably going to use a lot of nut trees, maybe have something like 2 oaks for some biodiversity. Then we'll come down a layer and we'll have our dwarf and medium-sized fruit trees like pear, apple, plum, maybe some cherries. So the next layer down again, we'll have our soft fruit, so different berry bushes, blueberries, raspberries, gooseberries, things like that. Then we'll have our herbaceous layer, so small. We'll plant lots of herbs and stuff in around perennial herbs in this garden as well. We'll have a ground layer on top of that, which we'll probably go with something like strawberry, some rhubarb plants. Then we'll have a root layer, so we can grow stuff for their roots. So that could be annual root vegetables. We'll try to have a mix of annuals as well. You have your mycelium layer, and then as well on top of that you'll have your 7th layer, which will be the vine layer, which will be layers that will be able to climb up trees, and maybe in by the fence here where it receives less sun, we might put some other vining plants growing along here. So we're only in the start phase of this now, so we've been clearing it out. We're going to put some paths winding through this space. There is already a thick layer of mulch, but when we take out the plastic, we'll be mulching and we'll be planting in our trees. The main trees we'll be starting off with will be the fruit trees, apple trees, pear trees, etc. And then we will also plant in the taller trees in the back, and as they grow they'll come up, form a canopy, and all that then will mulch this area again for us. So the idea is this will be low maintenance and high yielding. So we'll have a lot packed into this tight space here, but it will also give us the sense of a forest even though it's a small space. As you can see, the sun comes in here from the south, so the idea is to put the taller plants at the back and angle them coming in so they maximize the aspect and get a lot of sun coming in. So I'll make another few videos as we progress this project. If any of you have any good recommendations for perennial plants to grow in an Irish climate here, I think it's a maritime zone 8 UK climate, so if you've got any recommendations of different perennials that we could possibly grow here, I'd love to hear about that in the comments. So thanks again guys for tuning in, and happy gardening.